All right, welcome everybody. Community Call September 2021. Yeah, let's get started. So we have the agenda here as usual, and Nhost v2 updates. That's not going to be 5 minutes. I spoke a lot about Nhost v2 last time, and I won't go through it again. So it's not going to be 5 minutes, but there's going to be a few updates. Then Seb is going to talk a little bit about something that we call build with Nhost, and also some results on the community survey that we did previously. And we also have the good-looking Mrinal doing a demo for our new CLI for V2 as well. So he's going to do a demo on the new CLI. And we're going to finish off with open QA. So if anyone want to stay, just have questions. We'll stay and try to answer as many as we possibly can. So this is basically the only slide I have for Nhost v2. So we are busy building, and we spoke a lot about last month what we were building. So we can I don't want to repeat myself, but basically what I think everybody's waiting for is when we're going to launch it, and we're going to onboard people next week as part of the private beta, and we're very close, very close. It's the last 5% that takes the most amount of time, so you know how it is, but it's coming. And if you haven't already, you can sign up for the waitlist at waitlist.nhost.io. You can also scan this QR code, and if you're super keen to get on V2 for some reason, maybe you're starting something new very soon, or just about to start something, just reach out to us and let us know, and we'll try to prioritize you. I know I have some background noise. I don't know what that is, but okay. So yeah, I will hand it over to Seb.
Thanks, Johan. Hi, everyone. My name's Seb. I'm head of marketing here at Nhost. For anyone I haven't met on the community call. So wanted to talk to you all about Build with Nhost, which is a new podcast that we've launched. Next slide, please, Johan. And we had our first episode, which just went live this week. And the purpose of this podcast is very much about creating a platform for our community. The community is one of the most important things, and we've created this podcast so all of your projects that you're working on, you've got an opportunity to come on as a guest and speak and talk about your journey of building with Nhost. And the style of the conversation is very conversational, very informal. And it's all about giving inspiration for our community to keep building their projects and keep building their businesses, whether that's your own product or whether that's products on behalf of your clients as well. I've included the links here for Spotify and YouTube, which is where we've got it. We'll be on Apple Podcasts soon and Google Podcasts. And on the left, we've got Mustafa Hanif, who was our first guest on the program this week. Mustafa is actually an engineer by day, working at a company, but he has an agency at night as well. And so he goes into quite a bit of detail on a property management application that he's working on at the moment. So I think the call to action is have a listen. Let us know what you think. We're very keen for some feedback on this. And if you'd like to come on the show, just reach out. Next slide, please. Alrighty, so last community call we did, we mentioned the community survey, and we sent it out. And I think that the purpose of doing this kind of survey is to ultimately show that we want to listen to the community. Like that's a really important thing. We really appreciate everyone building with Nhost, and so it's important that we get your voice heard. And so That helps us know what to focus on, but also to keep improving the developer experience in the community. So obviously developer experience in the product is really, really important, and community is just an extension of that. And we want to make sure it's a really helpful part of your experience with Nhost. Next slide, please. So we only had 13 responses to this community survey, but the main trend that stood out to us was React is very much a strong framework that's being used within the community, followed by Nhost. Next slide, please. And then in terms of the different types of projects that the community is building, starting a new business is very much a key focus for a lot of us here. So the more that we can help each other and support each other with that, that's awesome. Next slide, please. In terms of what prompted people to join the Nhost community, it's very, very strongly skewed towards getting support. So getting unblocked. And that's the main thing that stood out there, with a little bit there from learning best practices from Nhost. And as we go through to the next slide, the thing that really stood out was that it's about the content that's very important right now. So whether it's video tutorials or written tutorials, that's the main thing that stood out from the responses that we got in the survey. So that's something that we've very much taken on board. On to the next slide. Next steps from here, we'll be hiring a developer relations professional who's going to be joining the team. I'm really, really excited about that person joining the team. That'll be like an ideal partner for me, because I'll be still driving things from a marketing standpoint, but especially having someone that can be there as a co-pilot to build with the community. That's going to be a really awesome addition to the team. So the call out here is if you know anybody who could be suitable for this role, just please get in touch with us. We'll share the job link out in the main community channel, but yeah, we'd love some recommendations. The other piece that we're working on is establishing a content creators program at the moment. So we've started setting up a whole bunch of developer content creators who are going to be writing some blogs and producing some content for us. And so that'll be very much the initial strategy at the moment, is very much leveraging as much as we can from the community and the ecosystem to create content and share it with each other. And that's very much going to be all about helping everyone build here. We're going to continue to do the surveys quarterly, but I think the main message to convey here is that we're always open for feedback. I think feedback is a gift, and the more that we receive, the better that we can make the experience. And so if it's product related, please keep the feedback coming in on the feature request channel. And that's an ideal forum to send it through on. And if it's actually community related, just please feel free to direct message me. I'm Seb Agadello, and you can reach me anytime. And that's it for my update. And I'll pass back to Yuan. Thank you.
Yeah, nice, Seb. Awesome update. And when you said you're available at any time, I think the time is like 1 o'clock in Australia currently. So yeah, almost any time. It's really nice.
Committed for the community.
Committed, indeed. All right, nice. And now we'll see if Mrinal can share his screen, and we can see what he has for us.
Johan,
I will stop sharing.
Yeah. Good.
And then maybe Seb needs to give you access, or you already have access.
I think I already have access. Can you see the screen?
Yep, we can see it loud and clear.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, just a few heads up of what we some new features that we are particularly putting out in V2 of the CLI. Functions. So we officially have complete support for serverless functions. right? I will give the demonstration for that. And we currently support 2 runtimes, that is Golang and Node.js. And for Node.js, we support both JavaScript and TypeScript functions, right? And I will show you both of them. Now, second is we have Git Operations, which is if you are running your Nhost environment and you happen to perform a Git checkout parallelly in the same repository, the CLI will automatically detect that checkout, and it will basically restart your environment or make whatever changes are required to the environment, right? Same case for Git pull, merge, fetch, whatever. And then we have email templates locally saved inside your CLI now, or your project directory, and you can edit those email templates locally for testing instead of directly testing them out in production. Okay, so let's just start by creating, can you all see the terminal properly? Should I increase the font size?
We can see it, and maybe you can bump it up 1 or 2 steps. Yeah,
okay,
that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Let's just create demo. Actually, let's start from directly Nhost. So if you simply do Nhost, no project, no application, so say yes. Right. This prompt is important. What this does is that it will, if you choose yes, it will provide you with the options of some front-end templates, Nuxt.js, Next, React. In the future, we may add new options. So I'll just choose Nuxt.js. What this basically does is that it will clone a pre-built Nuxt.js template in your local project directory. If you were to, yeah, in the web directory. And over here, it just has all your Nuxt.js files. Now, why do you need to clone a Nuxt.js template from over here? Is because these templates come pre-installed with the Nhost SDKs and whatever modules and middlewares that are required to completely completely use the Nhost stack with that front-end template. And if you don't do this, you can also manually set up your front-end templates by creating a project from scratch. Right? Yeah. Press Y for functions. You will get the option of 2 runtimes. I'll just choose Node.js because I'm assuming most of the people in the call would be using JavaScript or TypeScript functions. What this will do is that it will my Docker is starting. So if you do ls, you now have a functions directory. You go to functions. We have 2 functions, JavaScript and TypeScript. This is how simple a function definition needs to be. Okay. And it is like, you don't necessarily need to clone this with the CLI, but this is just how simple we have kept the entire function definition. When you run these functions, the CLI will take care of the entire process of doing all the magical stuff to run these functions for you. Okay. Now, one more thing. If you are like me, that is, you are using Apple M1 machine, that is the silicon processor, then what you need to do quickly is you will have to use a custom Hasura image. If you guys don't already know of this custom Hasura image, I'm also posting this inside Discord. The reason why we need this on M1 is because Hasura is not yet completely providing support for Apple M1 machines, and this custom Hasura image works fine on M1 machines. Okay, but for other machines, you don't need it, including on new MacBooks using an Intel processor. Hasura would work absolutely fine over there. Okay, so let me just change this inside my config file. Just go to config file and change the image for Hasra. Let's hope this works. Yeah. Yeah, it's almost done. Awesome. So you have Mailhog and you have Hasra console open. Now, I don't know whether the previous CLI actually had Mailhog, but right now we are also spawning a separate Mailhog container. This will allow you to perform local email testing, right? In future releases, it is possible that we might replace Mailhog with an internally designed email testing service for local purposes with the NoCLI itself. But for now, to make the job easier, we have included Mailhog. Right over here, now you're going to get an error that would say that you don't have npm installed, or I mean package.json installed and node modules installed, and that is because you basically have Node.js functions, but the CLI cannot find node modules in either your project root or your functions directory. Okay, so you just need to quickly copy paste this entire command and you need to install it. We don't mind it whether you do it inside your project root directory or inside your functions directory. Anywhere is absolutely fine. Right? If you are also developing a front-end application with the CLI, then you would probably have your node modules in the project root directory itself. So you can install it wherever you want, right? Awesome. So now we have functions. Let's just copy paste this, go to Postman, and yeah, get this for sure. Oh, sorry. Yeah, awesome. So now let me just quickly explain how the routing system for functions work, right? Here it is. So inside the functions directory, if you basically create a file called index.js, that function will be served on the slash route, that is the root. And if you create, let's say, a file called hello.go, it will be served at /hello. Okay, and basically this entire file system structure or the entire file tree is used to create your dynamic routes. And if you happen to create a new function while the CLI is running, you don't need to restart your environment. It will dynamically pick up the route the next time you launch the function, right? So don't bother restarting the environment each and every single time. All right, awesome. Any doubts until here? So I can answer those questions, and then maybe I can give a quick demo of the Git operations, the Git checkout and Git pull thing.
I think we can wait with questions to the end, Mrinal. So I think you can just go ahead and show off the Git integration that we have for the CLI.
So let me just create, just initialize a Git repo. Starting the environment.
And while we're waiting for that, I can just tell you that it was 16 wars between Sweden and Denmark in total, as we discussed previously. So that's something. All right, now back to Mrinal.
Yeah, the environment is already up. Okay. Yeah. Let's just do git checkout the test branch. Right. So you just did a git checkout. The CLI automatically detected that you changed the branch, and now it is basically going to recreate your environment and perform all the changes you want. This will basically just change your migrations metadata along with your database data. Okay. And one quick caveat, let the environment finish its job. And when it's done finishing the changes, it will basically print out a message saying, we are done, you can continue with your work, right? And then just continue with your work. That's it. And obviously the reason why we included this a small little feature is because a lot of developers, what they were doing was while their environment was active, they used to perform git checkout or git pull merge fetch, and then their data and their metadata used to become inconsistent with the latest changes that they have reverted to or pulled. Right now, this will take care of that. You can also basically do the this is basically how the flow would look like even if you did git pull from a remote or merge or fetch, but I'm not going to do that. It's basically the same procedure, right? If you do a git pull, it will perform all the migrations and metadata changes for you. You don't need to do anything. Just let the CLI finish the job. Once it says done, please continue with your work. Go back to using or doing whatever work you were doing. It should work absolutely fine. Okay, that is it. And your email templates are stored inside nhost/emails. You have passwordless template or any other templates that you want. Right, you can basically edit these files over here, HTML files and the text files both, and you can carry out your testing. That is it from my end. If you guys also, one quick thing. Yeah, we also have an nhost logs command now. So if you're already running your environment, you can inside the same project directory, just run nhost logs and just choose whichever service for which you want to see the logs for, right? This will display you the container logs. And in the version 2.1 of the CLI or version 3 maybe, what we will also do is that you will also be able to see the logs on the CLI itself for Hasura event triggers and actions, which are currently stored inside, I think, HTTP underscore catalog file. But it will come up in future versions. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much for the demo, Mrinal. Really nice, really nice. And with that, I think we are done presenting, and I think we can. What do you say, Seb? Yeah, I'll let you take over.
Yeah, we have a couple of questions that have come through on the chat. So the first one is from Venkata. How exactly these functions would work with Next.js API routes?
So I am not a big user of Next.js, but I'm assuming it would work the same way the functions would work everywhere else. That is, you just use these endpoints that have been provided to you, and you append your route name, and you can call the functions. In production, what you would basically get is, in production, Nhost v2 would look something like this, right? Your project URL would be xxx.nhost. something like this, right? app.io. And over there, you would basically have v1/functions. And in front of here, you can add your routes. Okay. And everything else remains the same. The production environment would take care of calling your functions. And if you want to know how the functions are working in production, they are deployed on AWS Lambda, just for like a quick heads up in case anyone wants to ensure compatibility.
Yeah, maybe I can just add to the Next.js question. So the functions will work on the we will deploy it on the backend, so it will be, as Mrinal showed here, on the backend URL, whereas Next.js is more it will be on your front end URL. So you can use both, but ideally I would recommend you use either one of the two. And what we have tried to make with the functions here is to make it very well integrated with the rest of the stack. So we attach all the environment variables for you to make requests to GraphQL easy. We intend to add some helper functions as well to make it easy to validate users and other stuff. So we try, so they're going to work very similar to Next.js, but more well integrated to Nhost. That's sort of just adding that.
Okay, thank you guys. Venkata, hopefully that answered your question. And just moving on to the next one that we got in chat now, we had one from Lars, where Lars was asking, is it possible to add welcome email?
Yeah, I think we do have that. So there's two ways to do this. Either you use the verify email, which if you want your users to have to verify their email before they can sign in, this one will be sent out automatically. Or another option is to create an Hasura event trigger. So on a user insert, that will trigger an event hook in your Nhost functions that will in turn send out an email. So there's two options there.
And if I do this Hasura event trigger, is that connected to the email sender within Nhost, or do I need to do that outside of Nhost with the welcome email, for example?
Yeah, good question. So short term, you need to do it outside Nhost. Long term, we have the intention to have that in-house, to have that capability in-house. We have Gary has already made the designs for all of that. But it's yeah, there's some difficult, it's not trivial to implement. So I think so probably outside Nhost initially.
And one follow-up question to that, would it be possible to configure the sender address? Right now, if someone signs up to the product I'm building, they will get an email from Nhost. Is it possible to change the URL in any way?
Same answer, I think. We will.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't looked into too much to that. I don't know if Nuno, you know more about this. But I think it has to do with deliverability and stuff like that. So if we change the sender to just anyone, I guess it will get caught quite quickly in the spam filters. So I think we need to have it in a certain way. But yeah, as Jerry said,
it could be it could also be an advantage in the beginning because you built up a better email sending reputation than my service probably has. So it will go through more often.
I think the basic gist of it is that we will develop the email functionality because it comes up very often from basically all of you. Okay. So it's something that probably like as soon as we get the V2 sort of basics working, the stuff you already use now, working with V2, that's probably going to be our first sort of new things that we tackle developing the email functionality.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone. Next question that we had come through was from Brent. Is passwordless part of this upgrade/update?
Yes, it is. So passwordless is going to be included both email and text message, so SMS. So you will be able to let your users sign in passwordless with both email and SMS. And for SMS, we have an integration with Twilio. So that's what we're going to start using.
Very good. Thanks, Yuan. Next question is from Yuvan. How can we change the configurations of each Lambda function, such as memory? And secondly, can we choose to use Lambda at edge?
So I can answer the first part of that question. At least locally, you do not have any settings out of the box available that can allow you to manage host settings or even network settings of your functions. Secondly, and that is fundamentally because we are processing and running these functions in a custom manner and not using any Lambda simulator locally. And what actually happens is that when you develop a function locally, we use an out-of-the-box approach that we built inside the house to run those functions locally, but on production, those functions are deployed on Lambda. But as far as local development is concerned, there's no Lambda simulation happening, right? It is just to give you the exact same feeling and flavor like you're developing a Lambda function out of the box. And maybe Johan or Nuno can answer the second question about infrastructure. Do we have the option to choose Lambda at edge?
Yeah, so even about the first part of the question, which I think it was mostly for the actual projects running in production, we can't change the, or you can, the end user cannot change the environment in which functions run, but we're going to be very generous on the free tier regarding the environment that we are providing for functions to run. And of course, that if you upgrade to a bigger plan, you get more resources for Lambda as well. So it's not that you can control specifically for Lambda what we are providing. So you can upgrade to a bigger plan and have then more resources. For the second part, Lambda Edge, we are actually also, we haven't started, not the implementation part, but we are on the design phase of thinking about CloudFront and how we can incorporate CloudFront not only into storage, but into the rest of the backend. And the Lambda Edge is definitely in the pipeline as well. So long story short, we're not going to have it available for next week, but we intend to have it for the public beta. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, we got it. Sounds good. Thanks. Thank you, Nuno. And next question is from Lars. Will there be any updates to the storage API?
Yes. So storage is one of those services that are complete rewrites. Other services, so like we're going to keep Postgres as well, obviously. Auth is going to be very similar, but storage is like a complete rewrite, and it's so that's going to work completely different. And the reason we did that is to have it more well integrated to GraphQL. So you will actually use Hasura's permission system to do permissions for storage. So and also, like, every time you upload a file, we have a specific storage schema. So every file gets a metadata entry there. And so you can use that in use that metadata as part of your GraphQL API.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys, so if people are doing like a reordering of storage elements, right? Like I have a bunch of images I need to reorder for a particular ID. If in V2, the GraphQL API is going to allow me to basically assign an order against the actual file object, right? Because in V1, I'm actually working on it today. In V1, I was going to basically just, use a text field and basically just, say in the line of the actual listing how I'm ordering all of my images. But you're saying that it'll be more robust and actually give you data access to the files that are in Minio. Correct.
So we will keep a record of every file that is in Minio or S3. And it's going to be in the storage API, and it's going to be, you can query it as any other data in your database through GraphQL. So, like, in short, you could do something like you upload a file and you get the file ID back. So that's a UUID, and then you can put that UUID in your custom database or your custom table that you have for your application. So there's not going to be there's not going to be the concept of folders or anything. There's just going to be a file and a file ID, and you access that file ID through GraphQL.
Oh, okay. So you can't fall back to the previous method either. Like you can't. Right now, I'm basically just using the UUID of the parent to define the folder, and then I'm just putting images in there. And then in order to do reordering and whatnot, I'm just having to use the file names, use the file names and show them in the order in which they want to be displayed.
Yeah, so in the new storage, what you would do, like you can think of the new storage as a file is just like any other data type. So it's like a text field, or it's like an integer, it's like a Boolean, but it's like a file, right? So you put the file ID anywhere where you like in any table that you like, and you access it through the ID there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Okay. On the chat, we haven't had any more questions come through. Any other questions from anyone on the line? Feel free to unmute and ask away.
We still see Mrinal's screen, so that's fun too. But I think Joven also asked for the release date, and it's as Mrinal said in the chat, it's very close to coming out. We are going to onboard the first people here in the next few days. It's going to be like we're going to onboard people one by one almost, so like a private beta, and then we will, as soon as it's stable enough, we'll make it public.
Couple more questions came through now. So from Lars, we have. Oh, sorry, Nuno. Did you want to say something?
I was actually just going to say that 2 new questions just came in. So.
Oh, okay, excellent. Yeah, the first one was from Lars. Will there be any updates on the admin table for Nhost?
Not sure what do you mean with that.
Yeah.
That one. Or
the website you log into to like look over thing, if there's any additional features there or things you guys are excited about that is linking up to the new version.
Yeah, Jerry, maybe you want to add something here?
Yes, so we will have a new dashboard, completely new console, new version of the console that will reflect all these new changes in the infrastructure as well. So for example, when Johan mentioned that we're going to change how the file system works, that's also going to be reflected on the new console, and we will roll that out along with the other stuff and release features little by little there as well. So the old console actually won't work with the V2. You will be using all new console with new updated fresh visuals and much better usability, and should be something you all will enjoy.
Thank you, Jerry.
And maybe on the other question, can you show how V2 looks? So Jerry, do you want to give us a sneak peek, or do we save that for later?
Maybe we save that for later. I mean, you have I think you guys have a sneak peek if you go to waitlist.nhost.io, which, by the way, is a good URL for everybody to share to your friends as well. But there is a little bit of a sneak peek there, and yeah, maybe in the next call we'll give you a demo of the new console, and probably some of you will have had the chance to try it out as well. Yeah, exactly. Waitlist and Nhost.io, and yeah, go there, zoom in. You will see something in the background.
Thanks, Jerry. Any other questions? think everyone's just keen for V2. So exciting, all happening. Yuan, I'll pass it back to you to close it out.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say other than I'll post another link in the chat. So I missed the HTTP. So if you want to go there and give us a star, that would be helpful. We are trying to grow the awareness of Nhost now, and once V2 is out, we, as Seb said, we're going to push on a lot of content and awareness. So starting doing that now, and as Jerry said as well, just iterating that. If you have any friends who you think will also enjoy Nhost here soon, feel free to pass them the waitlist URL as well.